The content provided in this podcast is for informational purposes only and is not intended for a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your doctor or other qualified health professionals with any questions you may have regarding your medical condition. Never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something you have heard on this podcast.
On today's episode, we will be debunking some myths and facts associated with type 1 diabetes. We're your hosts, Isabella and Sebastian Harris.
This is Life on the Level. If you're listening, you probably have or know someone with type 1 diabetes. We're here to give you the knowledge and encouragement so you can thrive. Join us as we dive into all things type 1, real experiences, expert insights, and practical strategies. Today, we're going to debunk some myths and facts for those of you who have been recently diagnosed with type 1. Welcome to the club.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't really want to be a member, but here we are. Seb, if you wanted to start us off?
Yep, sure. The first myth to debunk is the idea that if you have a high or low blood sugar, you're in immediate danger. One of the things we often hear is the things of like, if you are low for 3 hours, you're in big trouble, or like really, really serious trouble. Or if you have one high blood reading, you're immediately going to be in hospital.
Yeah, or if you have a low blood sugar for too long once, it's like your brain cells are gone.
Yeah.
You've lost 12 brain cells.
Yeah, at least. Yeah. And you have like a few more left. But like the whole idea is it's not the end if you have these small periods where you're low or where you're high.
Yeah, and they do happen.
Yeah.
You can't keep it in range the whole time and not to stress about it too.
Yeah. Sure, it might be stressful and it's something to worry about for some, but it's not the end all.
Yeah. And I think especially people thinking that having a blood sugar of like 12 or whatever a couple of times will then mean that they're going to, lose their feet. That's not how it works. It's not that sudden. I mean, look after yourself, but don't worry about those small little high blood sugars that happen inevitably. Yeah.
You're not perfect. It's all normal. Don't stress too much.
Yes. Yeah. I think another one is how long it takes to do everything. For example, when I first got my insulin pump, I remember feeling so overwhelmed with how long and every step that needed to be done to change my insulin site. And it becomes habitual over time and it becomes easier and you learn how to do things. And it doesn't mean that they're less difficult. It just means that they're less of a stressor as you go on. You learn how to do them. Yeah, they're annoying at first and they're quite complicated at first. But like anything, it's like riding a bike.
Yeah, as I always say.
Yeah. I thought that was a you comment. Yeah, I think that's another one that's really important. People understand.
Yeah. Well, also, just the time that you spend injecting. Like, if you were to count it all up, how long you spend injecting a year, it would be like a very long time. And it's okay that it takes that long when you go out and about, speaking from experience, and you might get some weird, dodgy looks from people going, what are you doing with like a needle? It's okay to take your time and not rush through it just for the sake of...
Yeah.
You don't have to rush through it just because you're getting a few weird looks. Like, I get that feeling.
Yeah.
But it's okay. I mean, the worst that can happen is say, what are you doing? And you say, I'm doing this. If they don't understand, then it's just not understanding. We can't be angry at that just because they don't know.
Yeah.
Another one that we often see is the idea that you will get carb counting wrong. It is one of those things that, yes, you are bound to make mistakes. And yes, you are bound to struggle with carb counting at times. But the more you get used to it and the more you go through it, the more you're able to roughly estimate how much it is without having to be too pedantic about every single meal of the day, because it can get tiring.
Yeah.
And you always think what you're eating here and what you're going to eat later and what you're having for dinner. It's like this big, long process that doesn't need to be as stressful as it is.
Yeah, carb counting does eventually become like just something that you learn how to do. And
it becomes second nature.
Yeah, a lot of it does. Yeah. A thing that's quite interesting to me when I was first diagnosed is that I thought this is like a little bit different. This is sort of if you're first diagnosed, but I thought I needed glasses when I didn't. So basically the swelling of your eye lens can happen if you've got too much glucose, like a glucose buildup, which can cause blurry vision. And that led me to believe that I needed glasses. And then, and your vision goes back to normal after your blood sugars are stabilized. And that's what happened with me. But I just thought it was quite interesting that I had gone through that whole process of like, I need glasses, and I didn't at all.
This next myth is quite a heavy one. So just a bit of warning ahead of time. What is the life expectancy of someone with type 1 diabetes? Now, you often go around saying you don't live as long, you don't do this, like life isn't as fun. First myth, life can still be fun.
Life
don't
is so
worry.
fun.
Yeah. But I've pulled up a few statistics. They're not great, but it is improvement, which is the good side of...
They're well sourced.
Yeah, they're well sourced.
The outcome from them, not great.
Yeah. So the first piece of information comes from a journal called Diabetologia in 2016 that did a national Australian registry-based cohort study. And they found 3 interesting pieces of information about life expectancy. The first thing is the average life expectancy for someone with type 1 diabetes in Australia is 68.6 years. But the good news is, at the end of it all, is that this study proved that from 1997 to 2003 versus 2004 to 2010, there is an increased expectancy from that stat. So it has gone up 1.9 years for men and 1.5 years for women. So if my stats knowledge is correct, we're going to live longer in a very short period of time. We're going to get there eventually. We're just going to keep pushing through.
Eventually, we will get there. Well, that's good. I wonder if it's technology and stuff like that that's improved.
I think also awareness of health.
Yeah.
Like a lot more conscious awareness of it.
People being aware of what it is. Yeah. I think another myth is when something happens to you medically, you immediately jump to the fact that it's diabetes related. Now, I think that it's still very important to always check if it could be diabetes related first, because safety.
Yeah.
And just eliminate one factor, the main one, the main concern. But also not to jump to self-blame and go, oh, this happened because my blood sugar wasn't in range that time and I got this whatever now. And consider that it may also be something completely different and not at all related to your diabetes. For example, I had an issue with my arm and I was told that it was probably diabetes-related nerve damage. And after a couple more specialists, I found out that it was completely unrelated. Had nothing to do with my diabetes. And I was like, why do people get this? Like, why does this happen? Is this something that I had done? And I was doing the whole like, woe is me. It's because I'm, have diabetes. And quote, the medical specialist said to me, it just happens sometimes. So I think that's super important for people to be aware of. Like, always check to consider if it is diabetes related, but don't always assume that it is and just neglect part of your health almost.
And this is one that I'm super passionate about. Having glucose levels in range is the only important goal for treating diabetes. The idea that you have to be within range, yes, it is important, but also it's not 100% achievable. So while it can help protect you from long-term complications that can develop like cardiovascular or other kind of conditions later on, it's not the be-all and end-all of the condition. And your blood glucose levels should be targeted to the individual based on each person's unique health situation, because no one injects the same way. I mean, I'm the same person, I inject the same way, but I can be one reading one day and one reading the next, and I can do the exact same thing day in, day out. It's never that spot on perfect.
Yeah.
There's also this idea that overemphasizing BGLs can cause both healthcare providers and individuals with diabetes to overlook other critical aspects, such as your mental health. Being able to realize when, yes, BGLs are important, but also realizing there are times when there's other aspects of diabetes that are equally important.
Yeah.
I think that's when you have the best holistic approach to really understanding diabetes and best managing it. But BGLs in range, yes, are important, but there are also other important things that you need.
Yeah, there are definitely other important parts. Are you eating properly? Are you eating enough? Are you drinking enough water? Not to neglect those parts of your life and just worry about what your blood sugar is, because they also impact your blood sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the basic
self-care.
Human condition. Just
stuff.
Yeah.
Do it.
Keep it basic. It doesn't have to be as complicated as it's made to be, because it can be overwhelming at first when you're diagnosed. I promise you it gets easier.
Yeah. For me, it's just another thing I've got to do now. Yeah. I mean, it's still annoying, but
we still have fun.
Apparently.
So if you have any other questions about your kind of myths or facts about diabetes, there are some helpful links in the show notes, such as the NDSS Diabetes Youth Zone Just Diagnosed webpage and other resources available through the NDSS and Diabetes Australia.
Check them out.
As we wrap up another episode of Life on the Level, we want to thank you for being part of the supportive community. Your stories, questions, and just being here fuel our mission to offer meaningful support and education to people living with diabetes. Keep the conversation going, stay connected, and remember, together, we're stronger. Don't forget to follow the show to hear more wherever you listen to your podcasts.
This podcast is brought to you by the National Diabetes Services Scheme. The NDSS is an initiative of the Australian Government and is administered by Diabetes Australia.
Diabetes Australia acknowledges Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples as the traditional owners and custodians of this country. We pay the utmost respect to them, their cultures, and to their elders, past and present. We extend that respect to the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people here today. Diabetes Australia is committed to improving health outcomes for all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people affected by diabetes and those at risk.
All experiences and opinions described in this podcast are those of each individual guest. Your experience and management may be different.